Alrighty, I can't tell if we're officially live or not. Oh, we are officially live. Awesome. Welcome to our first workshop of the spring semester. We had some new testing it out over here. We are, yeah, officially live. Here we are. Perfect. I'm going to share this link with my colleague Jake. He will have it sent out to you right now. But everybody, I'm excited to start the first mentor workshop of the fall spring semester. Alrighty, I'm excited to dive in. We're going to get started in 8 minutes. So if you are watching the recording of this video, you can fast forward by like 8 minutes, as we will get started then. But anybody who's watching live for this workshop, yeah, we'll get started in just a moment to allow everybody to get there in time. But if you don't mind, introducing yourself in the chat, let me know who you are, where you're coming in, where you're tuning in from. By the way, I'm Garrett Mintz. I'm the founder of Ambition and Motion. I am here in Austin, Texas, glorious Austin, Texas. This is actually South by Southwest going on right now. If anybody's ever heard of that really cool event, it's like a 2-weekend, just music, culture, arts, technology event. If you ever heard of it, it's pretty cool, very interesting. I think like sometimes when a big event's going on in your city, some people who live there dread it. But I'm grateful that it is what it is. Like there's 300,000 new people who come to Austin just for South by Southwest from all over the world, and it's pretty cool. I think it's good for what it is. That's what I would say. But anyways, if you could introduce yourself in the chat and where you're tuning in from, and I know this is right around spring break time, but anything you've done for spring break that you think is fun, or anything you're planning to do over the spring, whether that be travel or try any new foods, post in the chat. Love to learn. Matthew from Texas, but now live in Indian Harbor Beach, Florida. Very cool. Very nice. Well, welcome, Matthew. Thanks for being here. Excited to kick off this semester strong and start chatting about ways we can mentor students to the best of our abilities. Like I said, we'll get started in like 5-6 minutes, just allowing everyone to tune in and get here and in time. But for those that are watching, if you want to introduce yourself in the chat, we'd love to know who you are, where you're tuning in from. Corey Mariano, welcome, my friend. Excited to have you in the mentor program this semester. Corey Mariano is also in our executive mastermind group. It's a really cool group where we take leaders and we work with them through their leadership challenges. And Corey's awesome in that. And Corey, really grateful to have you in the mentor program. Oh, solar eclipse going on. Very nice. Yeah, that's cool. I saw I can't see, that's the thing. I don't know a lot about those eclipses. I don't know the difference between solar and lunar eclipses. My sister, who's a meteorologist, would slap my wrist for this, but we did go to Albuquerque in October, and I guess there was like a full eclipse. It was pretty interesting. It was very cool. Can't look at it obviously directly with your eyes, but you get these special glasses, and it does the trick. Dr. Joe Hugh, in Tokyo, Japan, teaching seminars, workshops, and reading books. Good for you. That's awesome. So you're currently in Japan, or are you doing spring break in Japan, or both? That either way, very cool. And thanks for tuning in. I wonder what time is it? Really early morning on Friday, I guess, in Japan right now. Would love to learn that. Cliff, Atlanta, Georgia. Wife and I are going on a cruise in April. Very nice. Cliff, where are you going on a cruise? I love to learn. Are you doing the Caribbean cruise? You doing Pacific Ocean cruise, or maybe a really cool Baltic Sea or Mediterranean Sea cruise? I've heard those are pretty sweet. My parents one time went on a Southeast Asia cruise where they went to like the Philippines and Thailand and all those cool places in Southeast Asia. Um, Oh, that's great. Yeah, Cliff, we're excited to have you here as a mentor this semester. I'll share with you all the research on why being a mentor is so critical and all that sort of fun stuff in it. Oh man, Corey, that's so sweet. I appreciate it. Live and work in Japan. It's about 9 a.m. Well, that's awesome. Well, that works out great. It's Thursday, late afternoon, maybe early evening, but for you, it's Friday morning. That's pretty cool. I didn't realize, I studied abroad in China, and I mean maybe I just forgot the time difference, but I'd be curious to know, Joe, is it the same time in Japan as it is in China? I know it's a silly question, probably something I could Google search, but I figure while you've got you here now, I can just ask. It's the last one for 40 years, Corey. Whoa, that lunar eclipse. So anybody that hasn't seen one needs to be in on it. The totality, where it's a full clip, is going to be across the country. That's so cool. I have to check that out. My sister's like a super nerd for that. Like I said, she's a meteorologist, so she would totally slap my wrist for not knowing when all the eclipses are. But she keeps me updated and connected on all those sorts of fun things. And I find them genuinely fascinating. It's pretty cool. Yeah, especially being like the right part of the world wherever you're getting the full totality of the eclipse and stuff. So that's really sweet. Crystal from Indiana. I'll be visiting family in Philly in April. Very nice. Are you going to get any Philly cheesesteak sandwiches or are you looking forward to any food in Philly to eat while you're there? By the way, where in Indiana are you from? I'd be curious. My wife and I moved from Bloomington, Indiana to Austin, Texas in 2020. We both went to Indiana University. Um, Hey, Elizabeth from Illinois. Where in Illinois are you from? I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago. I don't know if you're anywhere near Chicago, but welcome. Going to a 7 days. Well, San Juan, Amber Cove, nice. Grand Turk, very cool. A little Caribbean. Um, Anthony F. from Florida, very nice. Greetings from Virginia. Michelle Person here, very nice. This is solar, so it's going to be go from day to night. Oh, very nice. I've never seen. Yeah, yeah. Honestly, when I'm with my sister and she knows when it's going on, that's when I'm paying attention to the eclipses. But when I'm not with my sister, who's the meteorologist, unfortunately I'm not paying as much attention to it. But I always feel like it's pretty cool when it happens. Chichi here, welcome from Nigeria. Wow, that's awesome. What time is it in Nigeria right now? It's got to be pretty late. It's got to probably be like midnight or 1 a.m. or something. It's got to be pretty late. April here, native Texan, currently living in Minnesota. Where are you from, April? Dan from Scranton-ish, PA. Feeling the office. Very nice. I love it. What part of Virginia, Michelle? Very cool. Absolutely. We'll be eating Philly food. Yeah, no, I love Philly cheesesteaks. Hey, Benita from Atlanta. Ellie from Maryland. Very cool. Here from the Chicago area, Torrin. Very nice. It's 1 a.m. Well, Chi-Chi, thanks for staying up and watching with us. That's great. And by the way, I'm so grateful to have you all here from Gary, but I reside in Indianapolis. Very nice. So I grew up in the south suburbs of Chicago in Flossmoor and moved to Munster, so kind of near Gary. Um, Dakota here from St. Louis. Very nice. Well, it is officially 6 o'clock here in Austin, Texas, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 1 o'clock in Nigeria, 4 o'clock on the West Coast. We are about to begin our first mentor workshop of the spring semester. I'm so grateful to have you all here as mentors for this upcoming semester. My name is Garrett Mintz. I'm the founder of Ambition in Motion. At Ambition in Motion, our vision is a world where the vast majority of people are excited to go to work. When they are there, their expectations meet reality, and when they come home, they feel fulfilled. And we believe that starts with leaders. And as a mentor for a student or a young professional, you are being a leader to them and helping them as they work towards their ultimate career outcomes. It can have a huge impact on their lives. So what we're going to cover today is a few key things. We're going to cover, who we are at Ambition in Motion, what we're all about. We're going to cover, I'll share with you a little bit of background on me and just some of the research around mentorship and how it's important and why it works and all that sort of fun stuff. And then we'll talk about why being a mentor is important. And then we'll dive into how to prepare for meeting with students and then what to expect from the mentor relationship. So we got a couple of things to cover. The nice part about doing this live is that you can ask me questions. If you've got any questions about anything as we go through the mentor workshop, please feel free to reach out. By the way, the link that we sent in terms of the email for today, this is record. So this is being recorded as I'm saying it. So like if you're like, oh, what did Garrett say about that thing? You can rewatch this recording and fast forward or backtrack to wherever part in the workshop you'd like to go. But let's dive in. So Ambition Emotion, our background is in the industrial organizational psychology research behind why people get along with each other in a mentor relationship. So we started in 2013 connecting college students with alumni for mentorship. Actually, I'll give you the full origin story. I'll give you the full origin story. I'll give you like a big update on my background. So I got started studying mentor relationships because I personally needed mentors in my life. I'm a big believer that, two of the biggest core characteristics of being a great mentor is one, vulnerability, and two, great asking of questions. And so I'll be vulnerable with you. I got started studying mentor relationships because I needed mentors in my life. And by that, I just mean from age 15 to age 19, I was a drug dealer. And at the end of my freshman year at Indiana University, I got arrested. I received 5 felony distribution charges. I was expelled from school and I was facing prison time, and I had no idea where I was going to go with my life, what I was going to do, what my next step in life would be. But fortunately, I had some people in my life that saw something in me that I didn't quite see in myself, and they gave me some opportunities. So shortly after I got in trouble, I discovered and learned about a program called At the Crossroads. It's for young men and women who are at the crossroads in their life. It's based in St. George, Utah. Um, and I applied to get into that program, and I was able to get in. And the person that runs that program is a guy named Brian, and he took me under his wing and is one of the best early mentors that I could have ever possibly had. And he helped me just kind of figure out how to get my life together, get my life on track, and get my path going. And about a month and a half after living in St. George, Utah, I flew back to Chicago to where my family's at to let them know my life's getting on track and things are going well for me. And on that flight, I was sitting next to a guy. I was also, by the way, in the middle of reading the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. By the way, comment in the chat section if you've ever read that book by Dale Carnegie. It came out like 100 years ago, but it's just as relevant today as it was then. But I'm in the middle of reading How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The guy who I'm sitting next to on the plane sees me reading this, and we strike up a conversation. We have a great talk. I'm learning about what he does for work. He, learns more about my career aspirations. I'm 19 years old at this time, by the way. And by the time the plane lands, he says, "Oh, by the way, I'm the director of ground equipment for SkyWest Airlines. By the time when you get back from your trip from Chicago, what would you think about coming into our office and doing an internship with us in our ground equipment department?" Just offer on the spot. I got incredibly lucky, and yeah, Brian saw that. The guy who's running the At Their Crossroads program, he saw that I got that internship and was really impressed. And he started connecting me with other business leaders in the St. George, Utah community. And yeah, I started really building out my network and really started to turn my life around. But I started noticing that a lot of other young men and women who were in that program with me were maybe making some poor choices, maybe relapsing, maybe not getting the opportunities for their professional growth that they may have liked. And so they might have not necessarily given up hope, but not necessarily known what they could have done with their careers. And so what I started doing was connecting these young men and women with local business leaders for mentorship to help them learn, like, is this the path you want to go down? Do you want to go down a path in accounting? Do you want to go down a path in being a doctor or whatever career path you may want to pursue? And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the concept of connecting people together. And it was incredibly rewarding. I ended up starting a nonprofit, or really working under the umbrella of a nonprofit in Utah. And the court system ended up seeing my work, helping young men and women connect with mentors, and they ended up dropping my felony charges to a misdemeanor conviction. I ended up getting re-enrolled at Indiana University and accepted to the Kelley School of Business. And I got incredibly lucky. I know that I have a lot of privilege, and I just was able to take advantage of it. So when I got back to Indiana University, I started these workshops connecting college students with local business leaders for mentorship, similarly to what I was doing in Utah. But I was also teaching them skills like how to get their foot in the door, how to network in a genuine way, how to use LinkedIn, how to ask the right questions in a mentor relationship, in an informational interview, how to prep for the interview. And eventually, one day, one of the young women in the group came to me and said, "Hey, I'm the director of alumni relations for my sorority. We are tearing down our sorority house. We're building it back up. We'd love to get our alumni, back involved with our sorority, maybe donate to the house or just know that this is some new things that we've got going on with the sorority house. Can you do this program for our sorority sisters to our alumni?" And I said, "Sure." Well, their headquarters heard about this and they said, "We want you to do this for all of our chapters nationwide." Eventually, more fraternities, sororities, honor societies, and universities heard about what we were doing. And yeah, they said, "We want you to do this for us too." And so 10 years later, we've now facilitated thousands of mentor relationships. And one of the early things that we learned from mentorship in terms of the psychology was that this traditional model of mentoring wasn't working. So this idea of saying, "Hey, you're a senior person, you're a junior person, you're both in the same field, connect them." Only 18% of those relationships lasted for 6 months and were considered productive and quality. And so what we started studying was what causes people to have a really productive mentor relationship. And in that 18% that were successful with our industrial organizational psychology partners, Jake and Kyle, we were able to identify that there are two key factors that correlate to successful mentorships. One is how you view the mentor relationship, and then two is how you view your work. So when I say how you view the mentor relationship, what I mean is that just viewing this relationship as like, "Oh, I'm obviously the mentor and they're obviously the mentee," what we found was that that was not as effective. What we found that the best mentor relationships are what we call horizontal mentorship. So even though, yes, you are the formal mentor, you are someone that's graduated in your career or mentoring the student, if you can come into the relationship thinking like, "I can learn from this student just as much as they can learn from me," that will serve your mentor relationship over the long term. That will do wonders for the long-term success of your mentor relationship. The other factor is how you view your work. So you all took this assessment before coming into this mentor program. And one of the things that we assessed was how you view your work. So some people view the work as a job. Some people view the work as a career. Some people view the work as a calling. So if you're job oriented, you're motivated by work-life balance. If you're career oriented, you're motivated by growth and learning new skills. And if you're calling oriented, you're motivated by personal and professional mission alignment. There's not a right or wrong work orientation. It's not good or bad. It's on a spectrum, so you could be in between categories, and it's fluid. So where you were 5 years ago could be different from where you're at today. But what we learn is that when two people's work orientations are aligned at this given moment in time, the likelihood that relationship lasts for 6 months and is considered productive and quality from a mentorship standpoint is 4 times greater than if it's just based on what you do. So it's about why you do your work, not necessarily what you do for your work. And so when it comes to our mentor relationships and how we pair people together, we heavily look at that work orientation data when it comes to making those mentor pairings. Now, we also look at career aspirations, what you studied, aligning those sort of like corporate vocational factors, but that work orientation has a huge impact as to how we pair people together. So you may have a scenario where you look at your mentee, at your student or the person that you're mentoring, and you're like, this isn't exactly what I do, or this isn't exactly like where I'm going. That's okay. What we know is that when you have aligned work orientation, it becomes less about a short term, like, how can you help me get a job in this field? And more into the long term as the like, I view my work as a career oriented person, meaning I'm motivated by growth and learning new skills. How can we keep this mindset up as we land our first job, as we get our first promotion, as we get to the next level in our career? That's what sustains those mentor relationships over the long term. So that's just a little bit of my background, a little bit of the science and the psychology as to how we paired you with your student and how all that works. I'm going to check the chat to see if we have any questions before moving on to the next section. So yeah, sorry, I'm checking out the chat now. So if I'm catching up, bear with me. Shana from Central Illinois. Oh, very nice. Southern tip of Texas. Very cool. Very nice. UT Austin. Um, Oh, the volume's not working. Cassidy, you may need to turn up your sound on the on your YouTube channel. But if you're still not able to figure it out, I'm sure like on the replay, you'll be able to hear this. Perfect. Corey, thanks for helping with that. Okay, cool. Cassidy, you're going to your phone. Fantastic. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat. Go IU, yeah. No, totally, yeah. Hoosier. Um, Mentors make the difference. So actually, no, Michelle, I'm glad that you bring up that mentors make the difference. I'm here to actually share with you some of the research around why mentorship is so powerful and so critical. But it doesn't look like we have any questions. Um, Oh, so question right here. So Amber Whitener. Yeah. How long do we expect the workshops to last? So these workshops, like this workshop will be the longest one of our other semester. There are 4 workshops throughout the semester. So we'll have our first workshop today. This will be 30 minutes. The rest of the workshops are around 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Our next workshop will be next week, same exact time. Then after that, our calendar is, I believe, just double checking here in terms of the calendar for our mentor workshop. So next workshop will be the 14th, same exact time. After that, it will be the April 4th, same exact time. And then our last workshop will be April 25th, same exact time. In terms of the mentor program, the formal program lasts till May 15th. But if you and your mentee are just hitting it off, like I encourage you to stay involved with your student's life for, as long as you see fit. So our goal is to start the mentor conversations and the relationships and then allow for it to grow and develop over time. So very nice. Hey Kisha, hey Shante. Thanks for tuning in. Great. I think we've covered all of the questions in the chat. When do we get a mentee? We are currently making those matches and finalizing them right now. So great question, Kaylin Fisher. They should be done. So we've made many of the mentor matches so far, but we're still like when you're making hundreds of matches, there's some logistical and administrative stuff that we have to go with, like putting it all together and finalizing some of those details. So we'll finish that and give you updates on what the next steps are within the next by Monday. Cool. So let's go into the next part of the workshop. So let's talk about research around mentorship. So what we have found, and not really us, it's other people have researched this, but being a mentor, why being a mentor is important. College students who have mentors are nearly 3 times as likely to thrive in their livelihoods than students who don't have mentors. College students who have mentors through their organization show greater levels of positive emotional feelings towards their organization as an alumni. College students who have mentors are 32% more likely to be engaged in their work compared to students that don't have mentors. This is according to the Gallup Purdue Great Jobs, Great Lives report. And then outside of the impact of students, being a mentor is extremely rewarding in the sense that it can teach you new things and provide you somebody in which you can bounce things off of. It's incredibly rewarding. You may think like, oh, well, I just met with my student a handful of times over the course of the semester. It still has an impact. Just being there for a student, even if you think it's just no big deal. I was there for, some, handful of conversations. Just being there to work with them through the challenges that they face is incredibly rewarding and incredibly powerful. Every person's support system is different, and just being there to be a support system for a student as they work through whatever challenges that they face, whether it be minor or major, is incredibly huge and has a huge impact on their experiences, not only with you as they're in a mentor relationship, but also in their livelihoods and in their careers moving forward. So truly, this has a big, it's one of those things where it's like a small impact now has a huge impact on their lives moving forward. And I just wanted to let you know that being a mentor is huge, and I really appreciate you being a mentor. So with that being said, let's dive into, there are 3 core things that my team and I have determined as the keys to being a successful mentor. It starts with your strategy, your story, and your state. So the 3 keys to being successful in a mentor relationship and as a mentor in general is strategy, story, state. And I said them in reverse order of importance. State is physically, how are you doing? Now, I get it. You might have obviously your job. You've got a lot of things going on. Maybe we've got some time zone differences, that sort of fun stuff that we're trying to handle. But what I found is that if we come in groggy, mad, angry, dejected, distracted from something else going on in our world into our mentor relationships, we're not likely to transition those relationships into a positive outcome. It can be easy for us to take whatever negative physical stuff we've got going on and bring it into not only our mentor relationships, but any relationship that we encounter. But fortunately, there are fun things we can do to trick our brain into feeling happy. And one of the things I like to do is to dance it out, shake it out, stretch it out, let loose. If you've ever done power poses, I'm a big fan of that. If you've ever done fake laughing or fake smiling, I'm a big fan of that. But for right now, what we can do, if you feel comfortable enough, for the next 10 seconds, stand up. And what I want you to do is I want you to shake it out. And at the end of it, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs. Sound good? Okay, cool. Let's do it. So on the count of three, I want you to shake it out, shimmy it out, let loose, let your legs go, let your arms go, get your head go. And then I'll give you a count of three around letting it loose in terms of a giant lion's roar. So 1, 2, 3, shake it out, shake it loose, shimmy it going, get the legs going, get the arms going, get the body going, get the head going, get it all going. Shake it loose, shake it out, get it going, get it crazy. Go crazy. Let your arms go. And I know you might think this is silly. You might be in a public place right now. You might be thinking other people are looking at me right now, but I don't care because on the count of three, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs. 1, 2, 3. Yeah! Let it out. Let it loose. Let it go. And okay, if you entertain me for that 10 seconds of craziness, how do you feel now compared to how you felt before? I would imagine you feel a whole lot better now. So the point I'm making is that when it comes to being a successful mentor, the state you come into that relationship will be the outcome that you get from that relationship. So if you come in with a positive energy, with a positive attitude, even if no matter what you got going on outside of that mentor relationship, maybe you got stressful stuff going on with work. I get it. Stressful things are hard. We're all facing challenges. A lot of things are really stressful, but if we can, in this momentary time period, psych ourselves into being in a positive state, pound our chest like we're King Kong, we can ideally improve our chances that we are able to increase our rapport with the mentee that we're working with. The second key is your story. So what is the story that you tell yourself? So why you will or won't be successful. So I'd love to ask you in the chat, right in there, why do you think you will be a great mentor? Put it in the chat. I'd love to learn about it. But the reason why your story is so critical is because if we tell ourselves a story that's negative, we say, oh, well, I'm an introvert, so I couldn't possibly be a good mentor for somebody else because I just, I get energy from being by myself and not with other people. Or if you say to yourself, oh, I'm an extrovert, so I'm crazy around other people. I struggle with focus. I got ADD or whatever. If we tell ourselves an excuse for why we won't be a good mentor, we will manifest that outcome. But if we tell ourselves a story for why we can be a great mentor, we are much more likely to achieve the outcome that we are setting out to achieve within that. So if you think about any professional athlete, like think about LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Tom Brady or any professional athlete that you admire, when it comes to a high pressure moment, let's say it's the final seconds of the clock, your team's down by 2, you're going to take a 3-pointer. When Michael Jordan hits that shot, the game-winning shot, he's run that in his mind a million times. He's played it out. He's told himself a story for why he will be successful, and he's visualized it in his mind for why he will be successful. And then eventually, when the opportunity meets and presents itself, he makes it happen. The same goes for business scenarios. The same goes for mentor relationships. If we tell ourselves a story for why we will be successful as a mentor, set ourselves an intention for what we want to achieve from this mentor relationship, we are much more likely to achieve that positive outcome than if we set no intention or we have a bad intention in our mind. So I want to ask you, why do you think you will be a great mentor for a mentee, for a student? Post in the chat. I'd love to learn about it. And then the last key to being a successful mentor is your strategy. What are the strategies you deploy to being a great mentor? Now, granted, if as a mentor, there's only so much you can do, but there's one thing that's the easiest thing you can do, and that is ask questions. Those are the strategic things that you can do to be the best mentor you possibly can be to a student. So if you're a mentor and you're thinking to yourselves like, okay, how do I go about building rapport with this student? How do I go about understanding where they're coming from or their situations? It's not about the answers they give. Honestly, it's not your ability to share your war stories or where you came from. But granted, that might be beneficial over time, but the best mentors ask the best questions. Unfortunately, I can help provide you with some questions that you can ask your mentee in your mentor conversations. And I'll provide them throughout our mentor workshops throughout the semester. But what's really important and what I just really want to stress is the power and critical nature of asking inquisitive questions. Because if you can do that, you can help your student, your mentee, work through the natural challenges that they're facing as they pursue their next opportunities in their career path. So what are we doing to prepare these students? Actually, before I dive into that, I'd love to just look at the chat and see what you shared about why you think you'll be a great mentor. Oh my God, your son needs to call 911. Or hopefully no one got called 911. I love that. 19 years, Michelle. That's so cool with your big brother, big sister match. That's amazing. Yes, you can, April, you can start as early as tomorrow. My mentee's pretty eager to chat. That's fantastic. Get going. Absolutely. There's no restrictions. Once the intro's been made, get on it. I love it. My coworkers are going to wonder what's going on in the office. I love it, Jeff. Very nice. Um, I love it. I love it. I'm glad that y'all played with me. Tara, you're a great encourager. I love it. Gary, I know what it's like to need direction and the impact of strong leadership. Love it. Corey, if you've gone through it, there's wisdom there to impart of people. Let your experiences help other people approach their own situation and from a better angle. Love it. Um, I'll be a great mentor because I love to teach people and help them. Great sharing that, Jeff. I love helping people and seeing them being successful in their lives. Like, if I can do that, that's amazing. Bonita, I'm a huge advocate for giving yourself grace. I love that. Dan, congratulations on graduating. Very cool. Oh, Michelle, you were a mentee yourself. Amazing. I love it. Jana, love sharing your past experiences. Very cool. Thanks for sharing that, everybody. I love reading, everybody's story for why they're going to be a great mentor. I think you're absolutely right, and two, I appreciate it, and I'm grateful that you're doing that. That's excellent. So, what we're doing to prepare your students for meeting with you. So we have workshops going on throughout the semester as well. So similar to this one, now we don't do them live. We'll do interviews with different speakers on different topics. So we've got two programs running on. So you might be mentoring a student. You also might be mentoring someone who's recently graduated, but just trying to figure out their career path. We call that the Alumni Mentee Program. By the way, all of our workshops are available on our YouTube channel. So if you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I'd like to watch that workshop, you're more than welcome to. It's available to you. We do interviews with different speakers talking about these topics. The student program, we have workshops on how to get your foot in the door, how to network in a genuine way, how to prep for the interview, and then how to prepare for that first job or internship. For the alumni mentee program, so these are for alumni that recently graduated but maybe are reevaluating their career path or career decisions or just trying to figure out what's next for them. We've got how to transition into leadership and management, how to know when is the right time to pursue additional education, how to know when the right time is to switch jobs, and then how to effectively manage conflict in the workplace. So we've got these workshops. We bring guest speakers in to discuss these topics with our mentees. And what this does is it helps prepare our mentees for just the next steps of what they're working towards with you. I mean, we believe in a full, just holistic approach to helping mentees get to where they're going and not just saying, hey, this is your mentor, all the eggs are in your basket, but instead supporting them with our workshops, supporting them with you as their mentor, and just teaching them things that they can apply for themselves to help them get to where they like to go. The goal of teaching these skills to students is that we equip them to make progress professionally. So when they have options and pathways to their desired career options, they're not just solely relying on you. It's easier to mentor somebody when you are guiding them as opposed to them putting all their eggs in you in terms of their help with their internship search or their job search or just them getting to the next level of their career path. So what to expect from your mentor relationship. So we are currently in the process of facilitating all the mentor introductions via email right now. By mid next week, we will have all the email introductions out and connecting everybody. And if there's a scenario where we don't have a match for you as a mentor, we will optimize our matches. So then by next semester, you definitely will be paired with a mentee. Sometimes we have scenarios where we have such a great outcry of mentors for a semester that sometimes you just don't have a mentee that's matched with your work orientation. That's okay. We will definitely get you paired with someone for a following semester and get you connected. So you can expect your student to have varying degrees of progress towards their career goals. You are not expected to have all of the answers for them. You are not expected to know all their answers, but the best mentors ask the best questions and take the time to listen. So we'll be running these workshops over the next 12 weeks to teach you skills on mentoring, asking the right questions, providing tips, giving insight as to how you can improve your relationship with your mentee, and answer any questions you may have. I love doing these live because then you can ask questions with me right here while we're interacting, and we can go through it together. If you got more personal questions like, oh, hey, I'm dealing with, this specific issue with like the dashboard or anything technological, or you're wondering where your mentee is, or any issue like that, if you're struggling to get in touch, email support@ambitionemotion.com. We can take care of you there. The mentor workshop dates are listed in your guidebook, which is also listed in the email Jake, my colleague, sent earlier this week. And if you can't attend the live session, that is totally okay. They are being live recorded right now on YouTube. So if you go to the link that Jake shared in his email to you right before this workshop started, you can watch the recording there. But yeah, we just love doing them live because then you can interact with me and ask any questions, and we can all get to know each other as a mentor community together. So anyways, those are the core elements of the mentor program for this upcoming semester. I just wanted to see if anybody's got any questions. By the way, I also wanted to mention, beyond our higher ed mentor programs, if you're saying to yourself, or you're thinking to yourself, gosh, I would love to, are there other things that I can do mentorship wise? We have things like our executive mastermind group, as well as our aspiring leaders mastermind group. So essentially, if you are a leader of teams and people, and you're thinking to yourself, I'd love to connect with other people leaders, reach out to support@ambitioninmotion.com. We have a bunch of leaders in our executive mastermind groups. They're fantastic. Actually, Corey Mariano, who's in the chat right now, he's in our executive mastermind group. He's doing some amazing work with his team. And then we also have an aspiring leaders program. So if you are someone who's not maybe leading a team quite yet, but you're working towards that, we have a program for people that are working towards getting to that next level of their careers and wanting to connect with other people that are in a very similar situation as them. And if you're interested at all in any of those programs we've got, email support@ambitioninmotion.com. Jake, my colleague, will then connect you with me, and we'll schedule a conversation and chat about it. But I love how active everybody's been in this chat. This is so sweet. I'm just so grateful to have you all as mentors for the program this semester. This is just it's so helpful when you have people like yourselves willing to take your time out to help a student get to where they're going. It's incredibly valuable, and I just wanted to let you know I'm grateful to have you as a mentor. Anthony, I see a question. What is the level of communication we should be having? What is appropriate for communication methods? Great question. So, level of communication, our minimum expectation for the semester is 3 30-minute conversations over the course of the semester. But if you and your mentee hit it off, and you have the time and they've got the time, and you're willing to meet more often, go for it. That's amazing. In terms of communication, what's appropriate for communicating, whatever you're comfortable with. A lot of our mentees will text each other and say, hey, can you chat for 30 minutes, on Friday? Or, hey, can we schedule a conversation? I'm a big fan of just setting the date and time in advance, and not necessarily like ad hoc calls out of the blue. But so in terms of a cadence, I like to set up a regular monthly 1-hour phone call and just like have it be at that time, whether it be, Thursdays or Fridays or weekends or mornings or evenings, whatever works for your schedule. I know that you're taking time out of your busy day to be a mentor. So if whatever works for you and whatever works for them, I like to find a regular cadence and just set that on a monthly basis. And then allowing you to text each other or email each other on an as necessary basis. In terms of the communication method, I'm a big fan of video chat. I mean, you can pick up so much in your communication from seeing someone's facial expressions. I love doing video chat. Phone call is fine, but video chat is better. So if you can do Zoom, or if you can do Google Meet or Teams, or it's Skype, or whatever video chat platform you prefer, I highly recommend that in terms of your mode of communication with your mentee. Oh, Corey, I really appreciate that. Yeah. So anybody, if you're interested or even thinking about an executive mastermind group, or curious as to what it is, or if you're an aspiring leader wanting to connect with other people working towards that, yeah, please feel free to reach out to support@ambitioninmotion.com. My colleague Jay can then connect you with me, and I'd be happy to chat with you about it. Like I said, Corey's in our mastermind group. We do some great stuff, and sometimes it can be lonely at the top, and having other people that can relate to our challenges is really helpful. So Jeff, where am I going to find the mentee information on the dashboard after they are assigned? It'll be on your dashboard, but we'll also do an email intro. So we're going to email you to keep you updated on all the next steps with your mentor relationship. So yeah. Oh man, that's sweet, Corey. I appreciate that. Um, well, cool. I'm just looking at the chat. So, Jeff, great question. We will email you and keep you updated on all the things. Like I said, we're still doing some of the administrative, just matching and that sort of stuff right now. Some of the matches have already been made, as we can see in the chat. Um, B, hopefully monitor actually responds. Yeah. Sometimes, I mean, here's the thing with students. Yeah, that's you. I think you've got the right mentality about this, B. Like, you can lead a horse to water, but you cannot always make them drink. I appreciate your patience and willing to stick with it, especially when you have had a mentee that was unresponsive. But ideally, we're doing our best to just keep our mentees active and students active in terms of just following up, because they're taking the time to be a part of this program. They're investing their time and their energy to be a part of it. So no, I appreciate you sharing that, B. Hey, Cassidy from Ventura County in California. Very nice. Well, sweet. It doesn't look like there are any other questions. I'm so grateful to have had you as mentors this upcoming semester. If you got any questions about anything at all, if there are anything that you didn't get to ask in the chat section, we'll reconvene next week, same exact time, Thursday, March 14th, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm in Austin, Texas, so 6 p.m. my time, 4 p.m. on the West Coast. Um, Shout out to Rhonda Woods, your original mentor. Very cool. I love that, Corey. Um, but yeah, so our next workshop will be there. So if you got any questions about anything, or you're like, oh darn, I wish I would have asked Garrett this question, no worries. I'll be back at it again next week with you all, and same exact time, same exact place, and we'll keep you updated on all those fun things as it pertains to the workshop. But if there's any questions, you have any questions in the meantime, please reach out to Jake at support@ambitioninmotion.com. I'll put that email in the chat. He's the one that's been emailing you about all things ambition and motion. So amazing. I'm excited for you all to get started as well, Crystal.